What's going on, everybody? Just want to give a quick little review for Baywatch. It's already been out for a while, so there's no sense doing a big full-on 6-7 hour work job trying to get it done for a full-on review. So, story of Baywatch, pretty simple. You got The Rock, you got Zac Efron. The Rock is kind of like the big guy on the beach. He's, literally and figuratively, he's the lieutenant of the Baywatch crew. And then you get Zac Efron. He's the cocky new guy, thinks he's the shit, and they're basically hosting this recruitment tryout to get some new people. You get Alexander Daddario, you get this other guy who I don't remember his fucking name because he was a terrible character. I'll get into him. And they end up finding some drugs and some murders and shit like that going on the beach, and they want to investigate. So, positives for the movie. You got, what's going up, Durbin? A rad movie guy. Marcos Gaming, what's going on, guys? So, positives of the movie. You've got The Rock is a big positive. For whatever reason, no matter how terrible the movie is, I always love watching The Rock. The dude is awesome. He's always charismatic. He's always fun. He's always interesting to watch. And he's the same as he's, in any bad movie that I've seen him in, or any good movie, he's the same here. He's The Rock. He's fun. So he's a big positive. I like the girl. I don't remember her name, and I didn't research it before I clicked record. The girl who plays the Pamela Anderson character, I actually thought she was really pretty damn good. They could have hired anybody that would just be, eye candy, and she's definitely eye candy, but she was actually pretty good. I liked her. I think the camera work and the cinematography on the beach was pretty damn good, because I actually live in Savannah, Georgia, where they filmed the damn movie, and I'm telling you right now, Tybee Island is a nasty, shitty, ugly beach, and they made it look pretty damn awesome. It looked fucking like Hawaii. So credit where credit's due. They made Tybee Island look pretty damn good. Now on to the negatives. Actually, one more positive. The first half of the movie is actually pretty entertaining, I'll be honest. Whenever it's stuck on the beach, whenever The Rock is really doing his thing, whenever it's about the recruitment, whenever it's about saving people, and they have a lot of really pretty decent action scenes and a lot of really cool stunts involving saving people, that was actually really cool. Now, moving on to the negatives, whenever the movie starts to turn into a 21 Jump Street wannabe, that's when the movie really starts to tank. Whenever it starts getting into like the murder investigation, whenever it starts getting into the drug investigation, and they're doing the more, I know that's the idea of the show, how ridiculous it is, but it's not fun whenever it's so ridiculous you can't laugh at it. Whenever they start doing things that's so ridiculous and you have to suspend your disbelief ridiculously far, like when they're sneaking into places with the shittiest disguises, nobody's asking them any questions. Like, you got Zac Efron, he dresses up like a woman, and the dude is like 2% body fat with gigantic biceps, so it's like, it's the ugliest, manliest woman you've ever seen, and nobody blinks an eye and asks him any questions. It's just weird. The jokes and the writing is really bad in this. Like, the writing is the main negative, because when you have a comedy like this, especially the fact that they are trying so hard to be 21 Jump Street, 21 and 22 Jump Street succeeded because the writing was smart as hell. The comedy was great. The meta-ness of it, whenever they're kind of joking on how ridiculous the concept is, which they try to do here. There's even lines about how ridiculous the concept of Baywatch is. It doesn't work, because not only have we been there and done that and seen it done a way, way better, but the writing just holds it way back. There was not a single joke in this movie that I laughed at out loud. There's a lot of running jokes in it that they just keep going back to over and over and over again. Like, there's one involving The Rock and Zac Efron, where every single time he addresses Zac Efron, he calls him a boy band. He calls him like Jonas Brother. He calls him New Kid on the Block and stuff like that. And the first time was mildly amusing, but he does it like 35 times in the movie. There's other running jokes that don't really land all that well, and it's a really, really tame, thematically, really tame rated R comedy. Like, it feels like they injected 100 fucks into the dialogue just to force it into a rated R, rated R, just so they could grab the 21 Jump Street crowd. But none of the jokes, none of the subject matter is really that adult. Like, it's a PG-13 movie that got pushed into rated R. Aside from the fucks, and aside from one scene when you get to see a dead guy's dick and balls, it's a PG-13 comedy. Now, speaking of dick and balls, this is going to sound like a really strange criticism, or actually it's going to sound like kind of a pig-headed, perverted criticism. Why do we have a rated R Baywatch movie with no female nudity? Like, you've got characters that's supposed to be like Pamela Anderson, and there's so many jokes about tits, and all of the bathing suits are made to be really revealing, both up top and with the ass. And literally, there's no female nudity in a Baywatch movie. And if you're trying to push it into the 21, 22 Jump Street, rated R, raunchy comedy zone, it just seems weird that the only thing we see is a dead guy's dick and balls. So that's a weird criticism, but I have to be honest, it bothered me. So at the end of the day, and then I'll answer some questions, we'll try to sum this up. Basically, was I entertained? I'll answer it in a series of questions. Was I entertained? Strangely, yeah. I was entertained the first half of the movie mostly. The second half of it, I didn't hate myself. I definitely saw a lot more of the flaws. Was it funny? No. It was mildly amusing in spots. Is there going to be a sequel? I highly doubt it. It doesn't really deserve a sequel. Is it something that I recommend you go and see? So then you're going to get to my rating. The rating, I'm going to say, is on the lowest spectrum possible to see it on Netflix. I'm going to give it a solid 2 out of 5. It's worth watching if you're just bored and want a stupid comedy to entertain yourself, because it is a stupid comedy that's going to entertain you. It's not insulting. It's an innocent movie, so it's not going to insult me down in my core that it wasn't all that great. But that's all that it is. It's just a forgettable, innocent, raunchy comedy that wants to be 21 Jump Street so bad and fails miserably. So, entertaining enough. I don't hate myself that I spent 90 minutes watching it, but nothing impressive. So, that's my little spiel on Baywatch, guys, all in one take. So that was kind of interesting. Let me see if, let me kind of scroll back through and see what you guys are saying. Zac Efron reminded me of Ryan Locke. Yeah, a little bit. That was another negative. You know what? Let me say that. Zac Efron is really unlikable in this movie. Really unlikable. He's great in the Neighbors movies. He's hilarious. It's ridiculous how funny that guy is. You want to hate him because he's the most sought-after male body in the world, but he's fucking good. He's a good, entertaining guy. He can act, and he's really funny. In this movie, he's not really that funny, and he's not likable at all. He's a total dickbag the whole movie. All the way to the end, you kind of have this growth with him where he's supposed to kind of mature a little bit and realize that he needs to put the team above himself, and it just doesn't work. So that's another negative. Zac Efron's character was a dick. Ren Fleming, any of them dicks with ears? That's a little reference to my Chad Kroger rant. Almost Sideways, it's not that great. Yeah, it's not. Rad movie guy, it's not even that funny. Yeah, like I said, I didn't laugh. Very forced. Very forced. You said the humor seems forced. It's very forced. A lot of the one-liners and jokes is it's the obvious joke to make. Rad movie guy, the cursing wasn't needed. They made the characters unlikable. Yeah, exactly. Especially Zac Efron. Ryan O'Toole, hey, Matthew Haynes, and I say hi. What's up, guys? Almost Sideways, a fat guy's ass too. Yeah, it's just weird male nudity, which is just strange. I mean, I'm all for, equal opportunity nudity, but, it's Baywatch. Throw a titty in there. So, Durbania, you're making me happy I missed this one. Yeah, you didn't miss anything there, Durbin. Luis, what's going on, man? Rad movie guy, I thought the movie made The Rock unlikable. How did you do that? I don't know if it made him unlikable. It just he wasn't a character that is going to be someone that The Rock is remembered for. He's just a stock, big guy that was written kind of for a guy like The Rock. I feel like anybody but The Rock would have failed miserably in that role. I'll put it that way. I feel like The Rock's charisma saved the movie from being a skip it. It honestly did. Because if it wasn't for the fact that The Rock was so entertaining, I wouldn't be able to recommend going to see it or watching it at home on Netflix or anything like that, because it's just not entertaining without his charisma. Matthew V. Haynes, what's going on, man? Rad movie guy, Efron is likable at the beginning, but then they ruin him. Yeah, he's interesting at the beginning just because you want to see more of an antagonistic relationship between him and The Rock, but it never quite gets there. It just kind of is mild taunts. Rad movie guy, Cody Leach, throw a titty in there, put that on the Blu-ray. Exactly. Go ahead. Here, screenshot it. Put a titty in there. Ren Fleming, no fun bag shots, not going to see this now. See, exactly, and it sounds, like I'm telling you, it sounds like a perverted criticism, but it just, when you write on paper, rated R raunchy comedy adaptation of Baywatch, you think three things. You think beach, comedy, and titties, and that's, we got 1.5 of those things, so very strange, but, that's my whole spiel on Baywatch, guys. I just wanted to give this little live review shit a chance, and since I didn't want to go and full on do all the work for this review since it's already been out for 2 weeks. But thank you guys for checking in. Rad movie guide, characters change based on where the story needs to go exactly. So yeah, check it out on Netflix, guys. Don't spend any money on it. If you get, if a friend drags you to it and they want to pay the admission, by all means, go check it out. But that's my whole spiel on Baywatch. Do me a favor, like and subscribe if any of you guys are not a subscriber, if you're watching this video after it's been live. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, as always, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.